All right, The Long Walk. This is a pretty exciting one. Not really. I actually hated it. Right away, and I know like I don't get any points for this, right? You watching this video, obviously you can believe me or not believe me, and it's like, what points do I get for saying this other than me just sounding pretentious? My girlfriend brought this up. Oh, The Long Walk, that's new, Stephen King or whatever. And I looked at this picture. I looked at this, and I just because now I'm in my 30s, I've seen a bunch of movies at this point. Movie watching, I know it's kind of cringe to call movie watching a hobby, but I watch a lot of movies, and I saw this title. What do you call this? Title card. I'm loss of words. The the preview box title card. What do you call this? What do you call this thing? Cover art. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Cover art. You look at the cover art and you're like, this is gonna be a shitty allegory movie. I knew it right. I said that's the first thing I said about this. This is gonna be a shitty allegory. I didn't know anything about it. I watch it. Oh, it's a shitty allegory movie. Go figure. That's immediately like a 1 or 2 out of 10 for me. Immediately, fucking crappy allegory movie. I gave it a 1. It has a 3.5 average, which I'll say. I don't know. I don't want to just read my review, but this is like. This is testament to the average person. I want to say early reviewers, like things are kind of higher early on, or maybe this is just the general public. They watch a really simplistic, shitty allegory or very on the nose allegory. And do I know exactly like Vietnam War, whatever it is, right? So spoilers, like always. Is it about the Vietnam War specifically? Is it just about like war in general, or power, whatever? It's an allegory. It's a very simplistic, on the nose allegory. Okay, and I mean nothing really happened. They walked. Future game. Look at these. Okay, let's see. Top reviews: 4-star, 3.5. I'm not even reading these. I couldn't even finish 5K, bro. 3.5. Long hike to get through. You see, the thing is, it's not even real. Like, you can argue this happened. Like, there people are commenting about like the walk. Oh, the walk's long. The walk. Oh, there's my review. That was 1 like. Oh, thanks. Don't trust the good reviews. Here we go. This was such a bad movie. It's a Hunger Games, Squid Game knockoff, except premise of this one is so stupid and the story failed. See, it's not really a knockoff of that, I would even argue, although I do agree with the star rating and the general sentiment of the review. It's not really a knockoff because this is a shitty allegory. See, the Hunger Games in that show actually happened. Those were real people. When you're watching this movie, you have to realize, like, this is like a piece of, quote unquote art that the writer or director, I don't know what the book was like. It was probably crappy in my opinion. I don't know, though. I haven't read it. But this is like a piece of art where you can view these characters as like this is a thing going on and these are real people. But in reality, it's like, like a painting. It's an allegory. It's like an allegory from the Bible or whatever. This isn't an allegory from the Bible, I don't believe. But what I'm saying is like, this like represents like this thing. This is a metaphor. Like, it's not really. It feels like unreal. Like it's really, and just the fact that like when you watch it, you're like, you're selected because hard economic times. Sound familiar? All these movies now that are like, oh, they're just like us. We're complacent. Like, they understand the working class struggle. Everyone's poor now as the billionaires are becoming trillionaires, and the class divide is even worse than it's ever been throughout history. And all these movies are coming out now with that subject matter. But what do? They laugh to the bank. You know what I mean? The director is rich. Like, let's be honest. Okay. To be fair, I don't know if every single director ever making any of these movies is like rich, but I'd assume that it's like you're like one of the elites in some sense. You're making a movie, like you're rich. You probably live in a very, very nice house. You probably live in a mansion maybe, and it's just like I'm sick of seeing. I like movies I can relate to, but I'm sick of seeing these movies where it's like the downtrodden, like, economic times are tough, and, like, it's fine. There's not, like, the Squid Games thing. There's a lot of good media like that, so I don't want to, like, harp on it too much. And it is, like, it's a necessity in some way. It's not like people can't make it, but it's almost like I do think I buy into the argument that it's making us complacent in a way. So, whatever. Anyway, back to this review. I went on a tangent. This whole thing was apparently being publicized, but there are no paparazzi in sight other than when the movie director wanted them to. And the public is desensitized to that, really. Can't forget how you have to spoon feed your audience with how different this world through Pete. Like, no shit, it's illegal if Ray's dad had to secretly teach him philosophy books. Yeah, that's another thing. The knowledge is, being a free thinker is, like, illegal. They, like, killed him in the street, his dad. I mean, do things like this happen? Oh, yeah. Would I argue things, not to make it political, happening now? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, it's not so much that this specific thing is happening. It's like a commentary on history, and it's allegorical, right? And I think anybody that have a brain realizes this is an allegorical film. I do believe a silly plot can be saved with acting, but while both the script and the acting leaved much to be desired, whoever wrote the script is the embodiment of how do you do, fellow kids? Because God, young men, do not talk like that. Every line felt like there was a dude in a green screen costume whispering what to say in their ears. My friend guessed the ending to it like 30 minutes in the movie while watching. I guessed the ending too, by the way, and I do have a huge rant about that, which might make me sound racist, but disclaimer, I am absolutely not racist. And I did want to bring up another movie when I rant about it. It tries to hit all the boxes. This is my rant, I guess. It tries to hit all the boxes. Every, like, trope, every cliche. It has the touching, piano music when a character is about to die. This movie was like, what do you even say? It's like getting off on itself in a way. Like, I know a movie doesn't create itself. It's not, a conscious thing making a movie. The movie doesn't make itself. Somebody made the movie. Somebody wrote the books, and then somebody made the movie. But it's like talking to it, not to insult any specific person who worked on the movie. It's like, does shallow and pedantic work? Like the Peter Griffin shallow and pedantic or whatever. Every death, it just sets itself up to, like, do these, like, touching death scenes, like, oh, the character can't go on anymore, and then they, like, get shot, they fall behind, and then they get shot. These military vehicles are following them. If they fall behind, if they don't keep a certain pace, then they get shot, they die. And it's like, people trudging along, like, in the war or whatever, like Vietnam. That's like, it seemed like that was the era it was set in, I believe. And it's all pointless, and they have to keep trudging along, watching their comrades. I'm using Russian terms, right? Like their brothers, their brothers are dying next to them, whatever. And yeah, and it was like its own wet dream. It, like, got off on itself basically, because it's like, yeah, and then this guy's gonna say this cool thing. He's like, is there gonna be beans in heaven, Sarge? And then he, like, gets shot in the head and, like, slumps over, and the character's like, why are we even doing this anymore, man? And that's like, and it's dramatic, and the music's going, and it's manipulative, in my opinion. And it's not that movies don't try to be manipulative. It's not like life through a lens of power, right? You look at things through a lens of power, which I don't, but I'm hyper vigilant of it. When I feel like I'm being manipulated too much, like, art should manipulate you to some degree. It like, art is framing, right? Like, art is like framing, like 48 laws of power. Like, you gotta frame the conversation. What's the narrative here? Art is always doing that. But at the same time, it's like this movie, it's just relentless, in my opinion, of like you're supposed to feel very touched, like this is very important, like this guy's dying, he dies and he says a cool, like, thing, and then, like, the piano plays, and you're supposed to be like the Passion of the Christ, where you're like, this film was really important, it really makes you think. Like, that's the average plebeian who watched this movie. It's like baby's first movie, and they go, this movie's really important, I really thought a lot about life after seeing this. It's just manipulative, in my opinion. And yeah, just really, it's just on the nose. It's very simplistic. And this guy who, like, I'm not saying he's in terrible shape. This was Hoffman's son, I think, right? I mean, unless he just has the same name. These people are all like, they sign up for this. It's like a lottery where if they walk to the thing, again, it's not really happening, right? You correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You think this is really happening? You don't think this is an allegorical film? You think this is like surface level is actually happening? It is and it isn't, right? But it is an allegory in my opinion. But he signs up for it because he's like, I can do it, and in the end, I'm gonna shoot this Sarge because like whatever. I don't really remember, to be honest. Oh yeah, the Sarge killed his dad, right? We just read that. He killed his dad for being like reading philosophy books because there's no free thought or expression in this dystopian world, which again is not really that far off from like how life actually, and history doesn't repeat but it rhymes and all the cliche sayings, and I do buy into that. So anyway, without it getting too political, this guy thinks he can walk, like he can out there, like saying, this guy's really lean. I think it's this guy. This guy's so lean, dude. This guy's really in shape. The black dude is like in better shape than this guy. It didn't even make sense. And the scene didn't even make sense. He's just as lean as this guy. He's like, oh, that guy looks like he can walk. And then let's be honest. Hoffman, not really. He looks like he slumps over on the couch at the end of the day. It doesn't look like he's going to win. He's going to win. There's only one winner. Everyone's going to die. Do they not realize that when they're signing up? Everyone gets shot. So, I don't know if they realize that. See, I think that's part of the allegory, too. It's like they didn't even know what they're signing up for or whatever. You know what I mean? So, Hoffman, I don't know. He thinks he can win. He doesn't look like very athletic in this picture, And this is his black best friend. And I am saying this satirically. I'm not trying to sound racist. And I know this is a rant that is, in my opinion, anti-racist, but I hope I don't sound like full circle horseshoe effect racist by saying this. But I've noticed this in films sometimes, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, all right? Let me preface by saying, black people can be the good character in movies. They can be the like wise beyond their years, good guy, like whatever. Like there's the, I don't want to even bring the meat, like scumbag Steve, and there's like good guy like Frank or whatever. You know what I mean? What's the opposite of that? And they're like the best friends. He's walking along. They're like brothers. They're like brothers. The black dude and the white dude. And I know that sounds so racist saying they're like, oh, black guy and a white guy. What are they, friends? But. Yeah, of course, they can be friends. Of course, they're brothers. They fought alongside each other in the war. It's like an allegory, right? But my point is, he was literally the best character in the movie. Like, he had basically no faults. He's like, I had a rough past. I've walked a lot, man. He was already the shoe-in to win, like, based on his, like, story. He's like, I walked everywhere. And, like, typical, like, hard past that taught him a lot about life. And now he tries to see the beauty and good in the world. And he's, like, wise beyond his years. And he's, like, basically, he's just, like, kind of almost like, I don't know if the term is appropriate to say Mary Sue, but he's kind of like a Mary Sue black guy. That's, like, he seems like a sidekick to Hoffman, right? And this is like, don't get me wrong, I don't know these actors that well. Is this the other guy? So like, what's he in? Okay, he's in Alien Romulus. Okay, he's got a little list of movies in here. And then we got Hoffman. How many? Okay, and they're like, that's also a little list. I don't know if he just started acting 2003. It's 2026 right now. That makes him am I dumb? He makes him like 23 years old, right? So he's probably like trying to start his acting career, right? So he's kind of like the main guy, and this is like sort of like, I mean, I hate to say sidekick, but like this is like the main character, right? He's the protagonist, and then the sidekick character. And again, I'm not trying to sound disrespectful by saying that, but I just feel like the movie did it, and I'm commenting on it, right? Like I'm commenting on what they made, the art they made, and then the sidekick character, who's wise beyond his years, is like this like cool like black dude who's like pretty much the best character in the movie. Like Hoffman's like okay, he's like the main character, so he's not too rough around the edges, right? Like he's a consumable person that you can relate to, and then this black dude's like the best character. And then they all have their like little like nuances and their like quirks and whatever, and they're like, this guy's like the asshole, but he's not really as bad as he seems. He's just kind of like whatever, antisocial or maybe a little schizophrenic or something or whatever. And like that's also probably an allegory in the war or whatever. People get messed up, they maybe take drugs, maybe they're dealing with mental illness, etc. And the point is, I called the ending. Okay, I said this black dude, and I hate to David Johnson. I hate to keep just calling him because I know that sounds racist as hell. Me saying this black dude, David Johnson, who I've never. I'm just saying that because like, Hoffman is just a recognizable name. That's the only reason I was saying that before, right? But I was like, David Johnson's gonna sacrifice himself for the main character, right? He's gonna sacrifice. He told this guy they just met, whatever, however long it's supposed to be. They've been walking for like a week or whatever. And now they're brothers. But he told him his plan. He's like, the sergeant, he killed my dad. And I was just like, my wish, you get money in the end, and you get a wish. And he's like, my wish is to ask for a carbine, gun, and shoot the Sarge right there. And he's like, no, man, that's not gonna like do anything. That's gonna like perpetuate whatever. Like he just says something wise and cool. Like he doesn't say perpetuate. You know what I mean? But he's like that's really not gonna like. I don't know if that's the best option or whatever. Like I'm very cool and wise. And so in the end, of course, right? I call it's an allegory film, and he's gonna like the Mary Sue, like wise beyond his ears, cool black guy character is going to like sacrifice himself for the white dude. He just and again like it sounds racist to say like then he's gonna sacrifice himself for the white dude, right? But he's gonna sacrifice himself for the main protagonist in the end, right? And we got a little reversal, flip-a-maroo, but he did. They really fulfilled everyone's wish in the end. It was such a digestible film that really didn't do anything in my. That's what's annoying about it is because yes, he was going to sacrifice himself, right? He's like, all right, yeah, he like kind of took a knee basically in the end. He's like clearly like the winner. Like he said he walks everywhere or whatever. He took a knee, and this guy's like, no. He's like, don't do that. And then he, like, pulled him up or whatever. And then he ended up, the main Cooper Hoffman ended up, it's like I don't think he could really go on much longer anyway, but he kind of, like, ended up sacrificing himself at the end. He was kind of done. And the David Johnson, like, won the game in the end. But what does he do? So you could say I was wrong. He didn't technically, the fulfillment of the sacrifice was not fulfilled, but he did do it. He took a knee. He was ready to die and sacrifice himself for the main character, right? But then we got a little flipperoony, and Cooper Hoffman actually ended up, killing himself, basically. He's like, you deserve it, whatever. And then he's in the end. But what does he do in the end? He ends up sacrificing himself because his wish was Cooper Hoffman's wish. He said, I wish for a carbine. And then he fulfilled Cooper Hoffman's wish, essentially sacrificing himself for the main, protagonist. So, and that reminds me a lot of, which one was it? Annabelle? I don't know how to spell that exactly. It reminds me a lot of, I know this is 2014, so it was a bit ago, right? It was a bit ago. It reminds me a lot of this. Is this the right movie? Yep, reminds me of this movie. Alfre Woodard in this movie. How this was so corny. It's the same thing. They move in. They get this doll. It's not meant to be a movie review about Annabelle, but it's just like a similar thing. So they get this doll. It's haunting them. It's going to haunt them and kill them. Basically, this couple, and then the wife meets Alfre Woodard, and she's like a bookstore owner in the town, and in the movie Annabelle, and it's like they've known each other for like 3 days. And she's like, well, I lost my daughter. And like, again, like the stereotypical thing. And again, I don't want to sound like the black people in movies can't be wise or good people. That's not the commentary of this. I don't want you to think that's the commentary. But I'm saying she's like the typical like trope almost of like wise beyond her years, just good person, like basically no faults, like true, like I am pure of heart, wise beyond my years, and a good person. And Alfre Woodard is like the owner of a bookstore, and the wife, and Annabelle is talking to her or whatever. She's known these people for like 3 days, and in the end, the demon needs a soul. Like it'll trade a soul to get the daughter back, the baby. It kind of like hid the baby with the demon illusion or whatever. It like stole the wife's baby in the end, and it was like kind of almost like replacing the baby with this haunted doll. Like she heard baby crying, she couldn't find it, and there's just Annabelle, and it like took her baby. And then what does Alfred? It needs a soul. And what does Alfred Woodard do? I don't know. I remember the character's name in the end. She sacrifices herself for people she just met like 3 days ago. Okay. So that's kind of like what I'm saying with The Long Walk. Is like it's sort of like a trope at this point. It really is just tropey, like touching death scene, and it makes people who like watch The Passion of the Christ and go like, that really makes you think about your life. Really makes you. That's like a 9 out of 10, 10 stars. It's a perfect movie. Yeah, it really makes you think. Like that's like this is like what this movie dupes these types of people, where like it's just filled with like cliches and tropes, and it's like a non-story. It's an allegorical story, which is right. This is a personal thing. Like I hate allegories usually. It's not like no movie can do it. Like if a movie has like a double meaning, you can think about it like, oh, this can also be a metaphor. Like the surface level story is really good and the characters are actually really good and things are actually happening. It's not just allegorical, but then you can also like study the movie and like analyze it and be like, well, this character could actually like represent this too, and like da-da-da. That makes a movie. It makes it bready. It gives it like, what's the word? Breadth. The breadth of a movie. It makes it bready. It gives it breadth, right? It gives it depth, and it makes it so there's something to examine and contemplate with a movie. But see, movies without, and I would argue, you go, well, what's all the thing on the screen then? What's all the sound? What's all the sound coming out of my speakers and me watching the picture? You'd argue, yeah, there is technically a surface level story, but it's so rudimentary and on the nose. It's such an on the nose allegory that I barely consider this actually even happening, and it just comes across as more of an allegory to me. So it didn't work on like the two levels, making it basically like moot and like pointless to me immediately. And that's why I don't like allegorical movies. Like I hated Mother. I hated this movie. 2000. What did I even give this? Let's give it a 1 star. I don't even know I reviewed it or not. It's not 3.5. Go figure. The other allegory movie, 3.5. People love their artsy allegory movies because, and again, this is where I get punchy. Okay, in my review. People trick themselves into thinking when they watch a movie like this, they trick themselves that they're like, they pat themselves on the back when they watch an allegorical film. I really think this, okay? I mean, I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to be a bit satirical, all right? So don't hate me too much if you loved the film. But I think people pat themselves on the back when they watch movies like this and they go, yeah, it's an allegory. And they like they figured it out, like they solved the Rubik's Cube. When I literally looked at the cover, I looked at the cover art and I said, that's an allegory. That's a shit allegory film. I already knew it was an allegory before even watching it. And then people go, they're 80% through, they're 90%, they watch and they think about like, that could be allegoric. That's like an allegory for like the war. And like, yeah, like I get it. Like I get what the director was like going for with that. Man, I wonder if other people get that. Like I'm a genius, and they think they're really smart because they just figured out like it's an allegory, and then it's automatically good to them because it's like people like things that make them feel special and good and smart, and I think like really rudimentary on the nose, like allegorical things to the average person, no offense, like I don't think I'm a genius. I really don't think I'm a genius, okay? I don't even want to say the word genius because you're going to think in your head now like, oh, he clearly thinks he's a genius, right? I don't think I'm a genius. I honestly, my real opinion, my real movie review aside, I think I'm a little above average. I don't think I'm like gifted intellectually, and I can look at the cover art on this and be like, just because I've seen movies, I've been around the block, I can say like this is a shitty allegorical film, and I already know that. I don't need to research it. I don't need to pat myself on the back. It's pretty obvious. And the average person watching this movie goes, wait, and they feel smart. Because the average person's like kind of dumb, to be honest. Like, I don't think I'm really, really smart. I just think I'm a little above average. But like, I'll be honest, people like somebody watching this film and they're like normal, like, you know, not to get political again. I was gonna make a political joke, like average IQ, like watching a film like this, and they feel like proud of themselves because they like get it, and it's like, and that like bolsters their rating for the film. Which is, it's like, you have to take it for what it is, right? And you could argue the same thing with what I'm saying. Like, I gotta take it for what it is. So it's an allegory. You don't like allegories. You gotta judge it fairly. Okay, I'll judge it fairly. It was really boring, rudimentary, and full of like cliches and tropes. It did nothing very good. It wasn't a good character study. There wasn't very good character. There was cliche, like average character development. Like he was kind of an asshole in the end. He was just like them, and he was just scared in the end. And like he said sorry for being an asshole before. Like whatever. There wasn't like that good of like development with any of these characters or any of these relationships. Like it wasn't a very good film. So anyway, sorry, I had a drink before I made this review, so hopefully it's not too offensive. But yeah, I just feel like, 3.5 again, just like Mother, 3.5. Ooh, allegory film, 3.5. I'm smart. I watched an allegory. I figured it out. Look at that. What's allegory mean? I had to look it up on the internet. Oh, I did a lot of scientific research for the day. I should be paid more than I get paid. Whatever. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. All right, this is me being punchy. This is me trying to be a little funny. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I know it's a very punchy review. All right, so if you stuck into the end, sorry. If you like the movie, I'm sorry. I don't think you're a bad person for liking the movie. Okay, and let's be honest. Like maybe you knew as an allegory, right? Maybe you're not necessarily a dumb person, right? Like so, like if you watch this and you're like, yeah, right, it's an allegory. Like I knew that. Like it's fine. It's not like I figured it out and was proud of myself about it. That's fine. There's probably people like that. There's probably like normal people that watch this and they're like, yeah, but I appreciated it. I don't really know what there is really much to appreciate it. Like, there's a lot of way better movies in my opinion, and there's a lot of like better art that represents something and is a metaphor for something. There's a lot of better things. Like it just really doesn't do anything good in my opinion. But right, that's the review. So that's my scathing, punchy review on a movie I really, really particularly didn't like that I watched recently. I don't even consider this a horror movie. I don't know if they title this as a horror, just like a thriller. But yeah, so The Long Walk. No.